Testing, testing, testing. Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Me. All clear. Thank you, Dave. All right. Hello, everyone. Recording is on, and it's a lot of temporarily join the chats going on. Maybe you're signing probably online or something, not through the app. That's okay. This will work. How many people we have online? Cool. I feel like a little bit less today. That's okay. Yeah, we'll wait a little bit. Hope everyone is well. Yeah. Hope your music making endeavors are fruitful. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me. Yeah, I reckon I'll start now. Oh yeah, some people jumping on. Hopefully Luke will jump on in the chat. If not, well, it's all me. More importantly, I hope Luke's on for your last class today. But we'll cross that bridge once we get to it. I'm going to share my screen. Clear computer sound. Okay. Okie doke. I should keep the chat open. In the meantime. Okay. Keep that there for now. All right. So this week, week six. Oh my God. If you haven't already, please complete the sampling quiz today. It's an assessment. If you don't have access to it, maybe pop a message in the chat and I'll try and sort that out, I suppose. But yeah, try and finish off the quiz. Do it now so you don't have to do it later. It's pretty rudimentary. There are some a couple of slightly tricky ones, but should be straightforward. But yes, let's run through today's purpose, because what we're doing is we're looking at professional briefs. Why? Because for your assessment, your main assessment, which is not that quiz, this one, develop sound designs, due week 14. I know it's like a while away, but I would suggest you start thinking about it. Why? Because it involves collaboration. It involves choosing a specific genre, even a band name. Ooh. More importantly, you have to create sounds. Right? So, yeah, you have to get used to working with Ableton, the little workflow, and specific sound you're going to make. Look at that. You're going to make drums, 5 kicks, 5 snares or claps, 5 tops, which in brackets, percussion, hi-hat, cymbals. It's ages away, but if you start doing it now, this becomes easy. 2 bass sounds, one of it simpler bass. In other words, one of it's using audio, one of it's using analog or wavetable. So when we start talking about designing our own sounds from the ground up using synthesizers, we'll figure out how to do that. Pads, 2 pad sound, one simpler, one synthesized. 2 lead sounds, one simpler, one synthesized. Okay, so we are practicing what we are learning, and the synthesized stuff will come in over the next few weeks. Yeah, quiz is hidden. Is it? Is it now? Let me see. Take the sampling quiz. Assessments. Shouldn't be. This one? Should have access to that. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Let me switch to student. Maybe that's why. Student. Sampling quiz, due week 6. Um, attempt quiz. You can see quiz. Assessments page. Yes, Tyson, correct. In week 6 notes quiz hidden. In the actual week breakdown. Let's have a look. You just need to go to assessments, Denise. But if we go to the weeklies. When it comes to assessments, do it all in the assessments tab. Because at the end of the day, it is collated there. Okay. Thank you, Dimitri. So weekly lessons, just think about it as strictly content and homework. But when it comes to assessments, do it in the assessments tab. Okay? All good? Should be the same. Yeah, then you're good. That's where it needs to go anyway. So the one in assessments. Huh? Okay. Pretty straightforward. Now, where's my briefs? Because you'll be dealing with a brief. Well, that was a basic brief in the assessments for week 14. Well, due by week 14, I should say. I don't want to see anyone start a week before. That's foolish. You can literally make a sound a week from here onwards and you'll be fine. Okay? But let's look at the actual brief, a professional one. Mm-hmm. Oops. Yeah, okay. This is from Sample Magic. Some of you might have heard of this company. Sample Magic, I believe this is something Luke was working on. Because Luke's involved with this game. Speaking of Luke. Fire this up. Luke in the chat. Let me make sure he's unmuted temporarily. Where are you, Luke? Luke. Allow mic. Cool. Lukey. Should be working now, unless he's muted. Okay. He's there. So he'll answer any questions, hopefully. Yes. So speaking of Luke, this is a high chance that he was involved with this. This would be an actual brief given to anyone who wants to get into the sample game. Yes, it's a game. It's a hustle. It's a legit, what's the word? Occupation. You can make a living from creating samples. And look how detailed it gets. Like this is from Sharuz, the producer. I used to get his music. He used to be quite a prolific electro house producer, but he's involved with the game of making samples. And samples are good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Samples are good, at the very least, as a way to get started with making music. Some people rely a bit too heavily on it, but it's kind of nice to have somewhere that can kind of lead you somewhere else from where you were. So it's good, yeah. But yeah, look at that. Someone specified a tech house genre folder, and this is what they expect the breakdown to be: drum loops, tops and hat loops, perk and new perk loops. Okay, bass loops, synth loops, glitch box, combi loops, all sorts, and the tempos. So yeah, people will be pumping out fresh original sounds with all of that. In this case, there's some equipment they have access to and create with. Some of you might know exactly what these are. So this is a mixture of analog and digital stuff here. That's a very nice audio interface. Super expensive, about $7,000 worth. Virus. They got 2 Virus TIs. It's a bit, it's a bit greedy. Good compressors, Nord leads, more analog, virtual analog stuff here. Cool. Awesome. Let's actually look at the brief. That's not it. Go back. Back. Producer guidelines. This goes without saying. must be royalty free. So you can't just use sounds from somewhere else and change it a little bit and say it's yours. That's just bad practice. But look at this. All loops in one shot, so all the sounds basically, all the audio files should be at least should be 44.1 kilohertz, 24-bit WAVs. So they specify. Please supply 2-bar loops, usually with a variation. This is specific. Did not make 2 bars into 4 bars by simply copying. Customers feel cheated by this. Yeah, they're thinking about us. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Let me just make sure. Okay. On occasion, chord progressions, you may deliver 4 bars, but only if change is warranted. Beyond 4 bars would rarely be acceptable. Wow. Loops and one-shots must be zero crossed at start and end points. Okay. So in other words, no clicks and pops when looping. You're working in the professional sample game, you don't want crappy audio quality. No popping, no clipping, none of that. Test the loops, yeah. No clipping ever. It renders quality loops useless, see? They don't want loop clips, bad. Even naming conventions, look at that. Yeah. So if you want to get into the sample creation game and you're working for companies like Loop Masters, Sample Magic in this case, Sounds.com, there's a few more that escapes my brain at the moment, but they can be very specific, and it's all in the case of selling a clean professional product. So when you get the files, you kind of know what to use. It's all clear. Checklist. Does everything that can have MIDI have MIDI? All right, checklist for you. Any technical requirements, live 9.6 and above. This is a bit older now. In some instances, you might be pumping out audio effects racks in Ableton. And you have to specify whether it will be cross-compatible with older formats of Ableton Live, or does it need Suite or not, right? Yeah, because you don't want to be in the instance of buying an expensive loop pack and half of it doesn't work. That's just not fair. You feel cheated. These people care, right? It's very professional, yeah? Super clear. So, yeah, if you want to get into this game, you have to work along guidelines. This is the same case when you're working with advertising or production houses. They are usually quite clear with briefs, sound design briefs as well. So if you're asked to record, certain sounds like Foley, like they are very specific requirements you need to get used to. Okay. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I really want to get to this component here. Instruments and sounds in music. We'll learn the different classes of instruments and sounds that are used with music. As part of the composition process, arrangers are the specialists that deal with spreading musical ideas over multiple instruments. Within this class, as sound designers, we need to understand the characteristics of each instrument in order to be able to create and use quality sounding instruments. Let's have a look. These are the notes. Okay. These are the little breakdowns, but I'll let you read that in your own time. First, Luke, you there? Just make sure you're in the chat. Yeah, cool. Sorry, mate. You should be unmuted, right? Yeah. Luke's in the chat. It's all good. Okay. All right. This is my little spin on producing in general in any DAW, any electronic tinged music. Music with computers, let's just call it that, okay? I call this the 7-function formula. 7 functions formula, okay? Let me explain. Generally speaking, I find that music in all genres, well, I shouldn't say all, but so many genres, tend to have 7 functional parts. All right, see if you agree with me here. Function 1, rhythm. Second part, bass. Third part, riff slash motif. Fourth part, lead slash melody. Fifth part, harmony. Sixth part, Atmos. And last part, SFX, sound effects. Not necessarily in that order, but generally speaking, I tend to have my tracks arranged in kind of this order. There's no real hard and fast rule about this, but generally speaking, that's what I do. Let me just collapse it down a bit. 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I tend to have these components, right? Let me just make sure my sound. Nope, don't want that. Let's go